Excerpts from the beloved Silent Watcher's Discourse, given at the Lodge, Erie, Colorado, the 31st of March, 1947. Capital T. Why to hold within your minds the picture of your presence. The moment you say, Mighty I Am, presence, feel the luminous presence of the higher mental body come right into the flesh and blaze its light around you. You can picture this. Then when you call to the great silence, feel the electronic presence and its globe of colors around you. As you do this, you will shortly come to the time, as you say those words and see that picture, when the power, the fuller power of your own life stream, will begin to serve you in your outer activities, acting consciously at your command. I am impressing upon your memory the necessity of holding the visualized picture of the luminous presence of your higher mental body within your flesh form, because therein is the youth and the beauty, therein is the health, the strength and the illumination to the brain consciousness, which brings the ideas from the presence into your intellectual consciousness, to be the controlling authority in your daily life. If you choose to give recognition to the Ascended Master's use and activity of the great central sun magnet in cooperation with this, you will find it easier to draw the picture of the luminous presence of your higher mental body into your flesh form. Do not be surprised if you see your higher mental body at night and in the experience bring back the full likeness of it into your waking consciousness, or sometime when you are just quiet. All of a sudden, you may see the higher mental body above you smiling down at you, sometimes in a moment of intense adoration and love to your presence, or to God as people of the past have called it. The veil has been parted, and the presence has stepped through and changed the entire outer personal self in a few moments. Then the individual went forth the rest of that embodiment, a changed being into the victory of the ascension. This has taken place thousands of times on this earth, and it may take place with every one of you, if you demand it. $1. Property of Saint Germain Press, Inc. Sometimes in one final surge of a great love to your presence, and the demand for all of its perfection to come into your outer self for continuous use, will you one day force the door open, and that presence enfolding you in its luminosity, takes its command of the outer self, and does whatever is required in the future with full perfection. No matter how much people annoy you, please try to use them to cause you to grow and expand your own light. Never allow anyone's human creation to cause you the slightest disturbance. Make yourselves, at least 3 times a day, sit down and be quiet for 5 or 10 minutes, undisturbed, with just intense love for your presence, asking it to come into you and erase the outer self. 3 times a day of that, my dear ones, will draw into you the power of our love of the great silence and the power of our sacred fire, which will handle these other things as if they were nothing. Oh, just brush them aside. What about it? Don't be disturbed, precious ones. Don't even be concerned whether people blame you or are unjust to you or what. Don't even be concerned. You must one day become the sacred fire that goes before you and burns away everything human before it dare approach. Then you will abide in the world of the sacred fire. Then you will have all of its powers to use, and energy becomes power through use. Therefore, your visualized picture of your higher mental body and these activities of the sacred fire which you hold within the mind, become the power of those activities in your outer use, through conscious constant application. Oh, if you knew what a gift the love from your presence is, which manifests as harmony in the outer self. The divine wonder of that gift is so great, that I wouldn't allow anybody or anything on the planet to disturb it, or rob me of its blessings and powers. You are only concerned with one power, the eternal qualification of all of life's energy everywhere you meet it, with the magnificent flame of cosmic love, and that will do all things for you harmoniously. It will perform miracles through you. It, property of Saint Germain Press, Inc. 17. Will draw from the great central sun to you everything your heart can desire from moment to moment. It will release the energy through you, by which you may do anything miraculously. My dear ones, I would never allow anybody's human creation to rob me of the divinest gift of life, harmony and love. Don't do it. You are master, every one of you. If something discordant comes up or somebody says something when that one is disgruntled, brush it off just like a piece of dust. I want your world to become the world of the great silence, the love and the peace of the great silence, the wealth and the gifts of the great silence, the talents and the magnificent activities of life from the great, great silence. You have a wide open door into these magnificent blessings of life. Oh, if you would give us your attention whenever you seem to have limitations in the outer. If you would just disconnect them quickly and come to us. If it is only just for 1 full minute, come completely into the silence. Leave this world for 1 minute, and come into ours. There receive what is waiting to serve you and flood you with its blessings. The next minute you can come back to this outer form, and be master over the things that disturbed you. As you give recognition to me and those who serve with me in the great, great silence, I wish you always to remember the mighty Cyclopea's activity of the all-seeing eye of God in the royal Titan. Now don't misunderstand me, but if you were to visualize a large eye lying within the brain, the moment your attention went to your presence, the power of sight would act to clear the way. You would most of the time see your presence within that ray of light going to your higher mental body. Just be still and feel the unfed flame from your heart expand through the top of the head and go right to your higher mental body. Then as you feel the connection of the flame in your heart with the flame in the heart of the higher mental body, just be still and enjoy its love to you. You will be surprised what comes back into your intellectual consciousness through that love. Property of Saint Germain Press, Inc. 18. There is only one illuminating power in this universe, and that is the flame of love, which is God's life. But people do not use it. The moment the outer feelings are disturbed, then the outer self doesn't want to love what causes the disturbance. While if the attention would go with a flash of love from the flame in the heart to the presence, you would disconnect yourself from all the energy in the physical octave which causes the disturbance, and the thing you don't like would be disconnected from your attention. Then going in through the flame to your presence, on its return current to you, it would clothe you in its own feeling of mastery over that condition. Do you not see how wonderful is the activity of the sacred fire? If you expand it from your heart to your presence, on the next instant, the presence has enfolded you in its greater love and all its greater powers. If you call the great love of the sacred fire into an outside condition, it dissolves and consumes that condition and keeps it out of your world. If you make yourselves the great blazing sacred love of the sacred fire from the great, great silence, the peace of that love inside of you will be so great that it is a pressure against disturbance of the outer world, and instead of things flowing into you to disturb you, you will not only keep them repelled and hold your own harmony, but the very radiation of your flame into them will dissolve them so they cannot hurt others. Your obligation and responsibility is twofold. First of all, your intense love, recognition and attention belong to your presence, and should go there several times a day. In the second place, in solving your problems, to go into the powerhouse, which your presence is, and receive there the power to solve the problem, is the divine order of life. And in that solving your own heart's flame grows greater through the flesh body, in drawing forth the activities of the sacred fire from the great, great silence into world conditions, or conditions in which you move in your outer world affairs. Again you hold your peace. And then through the very call which draws the power of the sacred fire into a condition to correct it and bring it into perfection, your own flame grows greater, and you become the power of the sacred fire through the use of your own God flame's love. Property of Saint Germain Press, Inc. 19. The electronic body and the higher mental body of each one of your life streams have at least 80%, and sometimes much more, of the energy of its own individualized flame at the inner level, and only about 20% is in the personal self, sometimes less. Therefore, the greater part of your activities are at all times acting at the inner level, acting in the world of the sacred fire. It has to do that in order to be part of the great creative activity of the universe, and draw that activity of the sacred fire forth to manage its own part of creation. Your presence is a flame of God's heart from the central sun. Therefore, most of its activity is at the inner level, and that which you are aware of through the personal self is only a small portion of your individual responsibility in the universe. Therefore, when 80% of your life stream is using, in unlimited action, this cosmic activity of the sacred fire, then the outer personal self, when it reaches a certain point, must draw into itself the fullness of that sacred fire also. When you begin to do that, you will find the cup become crystal clear, and the flame from above and the flame within the heart becoming one, blazing their light through the physical form. You will find its beauty, perfection and invincible health, your real activity permanently sustained. To get these two flames to blend as one within the outer self, is the full freedom and mastery of each life stream through the physical form. When you enter into the conscious knowledge of the I Am, you enter into the great silence, because that electronic presence and your higher mental body, that I Am presence of you, is a being of the sacred fire, and to get you to feel and speak in acknowledgement of that sacred fire in yourselves, and command it to come through as the only presence acting, makes the human creation be still, until it is dissolved. If you choose to bring forth Jesus' full cosmic momentum of the sacred fire from the great silence, he will show you many things and make you feel himself in action around you. Then as that flame goes forth to correct conditions, you will find yourselves producing the miracles as he did. As you enter into the great silence, demand before you go, the ascended Jesus Christ's acknowledgement and use. 20. Property of Saint Germain Press, Inc. Of the powers of the sacred fire during this time, and until after Ascension Day, ask for the full understanding and use of the miracle powers which beloved Jesus used, when he produced certain manifestations which it was not wise to explain to the outer world. Ask him to reveal to you the things he did which he could not explain to the outer world at that time. Ask him by the power of the sacred fire which he directs, to teach you to do the things that he did, which he could not explain to the outer world. Then you will find yourselves having many powers acting in your outer world, which will be just like breathing. They will seem so natural to you, that you will hardly know you are using them. Ask Jesus to give you the use and the understanding of the unusual things that he did, that he could not give to the outer world. You will have great illumination. You will find yourselves having a mastery over world conditions which will surprise you. Have you ever thought of demanding that your world, the world of your daily activities, be now the world of the sacred fire of the great silence? Demand that flame flood your world, and your world be its perfection forever. Feel these activities of the great silence as a great sphere of living flame around you, of whatever color you desire at the moment. Then ask that flame to reveal to you all that is within its heart, and make you its mastery of the great silence in outer action. Live in the picture of the love of the sacred fire, and you shall see all the manifestations you could desire come into outer action to bless you and give you the power to bless all. You have the phrase, the light of God never fails. Acknowledge, the sacred fire of God's love never fails to dissolve and consume everything unlike itself. Just use it as your scepter of power, as the greatest jewel in your life, and have what you please to go forward in joy and victorious accomplishment and reveal the mastery of the sacred fire. There is not a gift which is held within the great silence, which will not flow into your hands and use to bless you. Property of Saint Germain Press, Inc. 21. Demand that your world be the living flame of the great silence of the love of God's heart, and all the gifts contained therein, and you will have the treasure house of life open to you. You may choose what you will. All is yours to command. As you enter into the great silence, you shall have the gifts which that silence alone can give. You have the capacity to reach into the great silence. Draw forth this boundless love of the sacred fire, and flood it forth into your world, until your world is such a living evidence and proof of the truth and perfection of life, that your fellow man beholding, will believe and enter in, to make conscious effort to be free. Your obligation in your effect upon others, is to draw forth this greater power of perfection, so you may have its gifts to give to others, and that too like a magnet, will lift them to their freedom. Come into the great silence 3 times a day for 10 minutes in undivided love and attention, forgetting everything of the personal self, and I shall show you the fulfillment of my words. I shall be there to receive you and give you this which I offer. Try me out, and let me show you the world of the great silence. Live in the contemplation of this of which I have spoken, and you shall become its manifestation to your fellow man. Then can you give your blessed Saint Germain the assistance he so richly deserves. Could you know, in the outer self, the fullness of your authority to demand that your higher mental body go to the great central sun, and draw forth that which has never been, in outer manifestation, and place it at beloved Saint Germain's command, you would call with a fierce relentless command to your presence. Then your higher mental body will say, I know you, and it will not forget to fulfill your call. The harmony and the power are great within and around you. Come tonight, when you leave these bodies, into the heart marked you, of the great silence, the heart of the sacred fire of God's love in the great silence. there see your presence face to face and consult with it, as the mighty power, property of Saint Germain Press, Inc., 22. And the greatest release it can pour through you from hour to hour. Demand its fullest remembrance in the intellect when you return. You will find your presence a wise counselor, a loving friend, a divine parent who will never say you nay. I am awaiting the joy of welcoming you there, and giving you the priceless gifts of the sacred fire of my love in the great, great silence. May you feel it and blaze its flame everywhere from tonight. Let my world and yours flood its flame over the earth, and enter into that love of God's heart that never can fail, and never did. Let your world be that sacred fire from tonight, and just live for the enjoyment of expanding it by use. The powers of nature shall help you, the angelic host shall abide with you, and legions of the sacred fire shall ever attend you, to help you bring this flame and its mighty cosmic victory to the rest of mankind as soon as possible. Property of Saint